whispers of wisdom, a place where books are not summarized, they are experienced. This channel is devoted to exploring great works of philosophy, literature, and thought, not as academic ideas, but as living challenges. We slow down, we listen closely, and we allow difficult books to speak in their own voice. In this series, we are walking through Friedrich Nietzsche's Thus Spoke Zarathustra, a book divided into 4 powerful parts, each one pushing deeper into what it means to become strong, independent, and honest with oneself. In this 3rd video, we continue part 1, covering chapters 9 through 12, where Zarathustra stops comforting and starts confronting. Here he exposes the danger of those who quietly preach weariness and decay, why struggle is not a flaw of life, but its engine, how the state becomes a new idol demanding obedience, and why noise, crowds, and constant attention poison the creative spirit. These chapters are sharp, they are unsettling, and they are meant to be. So step away from the noise, leave certainty behind, and listen carefully. This is Whispers of Wisdom, and this is Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Part 1, Chapters 9 to 12. Chapter 9, The Preachers of Death. Zarathustra now speaks of a danger more subtle than violence, more destructive than hatred. He speaks of those who preach death while pretending to serve life. They do not call themselves enemies. They wear the faces of teachers, moralists, healers, and holy men. They speak softly, calmly, reasonably, and yet everything they teach smells of weariness. Zarathustra calls them the preachers of death. These are not people who openly desire destruction. No, that would be honest. These are people who are tired of living, but too afraid to admit it. They no longer believe in life's intensity, struggle, or becoming. So they turn their exhaustion into virtue. They preach rest. They preach peace. They preach salvation from effort. But beneath their words lies resentment. Resentment towards strength, passion, and vitality. Zarathustra sees through them immediately. He says they speak endlessly about suffering, not to overcome it, but to justify their weakness. They glorify pain, not because it deepens life, but because it excuses their inability to affirm it. They promise relief. They promise comfort. They promise escape. And the masses listen. Why? Because exhaustion loves company. Zarathustra does not deny suffering. He denies the worship of it. He sees that life includes pain, but life is not meant to kneel before it. The preachers of death turn pain into proof that life itself is wrong. They say life is burden, desire is dangerous, joy is suspect, strength leads to cruelty, and so they call resignation wisdom. Zarathustra calls it decay disguised as morality. He notices something else. These preachers are often praised as good people. They are gentle, polite, controlled. They discourage ambition. They discourage risk. They discourage desire, especially strong desire. Why? because desire threatens them. A person who desires deeply reminds them of what they have lost or never dared to pursue. So instead of admitting their fear, they declare desire sinful, dangerous, or immature. Zarathustra is ruthless here. He says these preachers are not evil. They are sick, not physically, spiritually. They are tired of themselves, tired of struggle, tired of becoming. And because they cannot renew themselves, they try to convince others that renewal is unnecessary. They preach death not as suicide, but as slow fatting, a life reduced to safety, a life without risk, a life without fire. Zarathustra sees how seductive this message is. To those burdened by hardship, the promise of rest sounds merciful. To those wounded by failure, the rejection of ambition feels healing. To those afraid of standing alone, conformity feels like peace. But Zarathustra says, this peace is a graveyard peace, stillness without vitality, order without creation, morality without joy. He warns that when these voices dominate, societies become sterile, safe but lifeless, moral but hollow. People survive but do not live. Zarathustra contrasts them with creators. Creators are dangerous. They break old values. They struggle. They suffer, but their suffering has direction. It serves growth, not resignation. The preachers of death want suffering to end. Zarathustra wants suffering to mean something. He does not offer comfort. He offers challenge. He speaks harshly now. He says, beware of those who hate the body. Beware of those who fear passion. Beware of those who promise paradise only after life ends. They devalue life itself in order to escape responsibility for it. Zarathustra's anger here is not cruelty. It is urgency, because he sees how easily people surrender their fire, how willingly they accept small lives if given moral permission, how quickly they trade becoming for belonging. The preachers of death often speak of equality, but Zarathustra hears envy. They preach humility, but despise excellence. They preach peace, but fear conflict. They preach obedience, but resent strength. Zarathustra does not call for violence against them. He calls for distance. He says, do not argue with them. Do not try to convert them. Their sickness is not intellectual. It is existential. Instead, turn away. Live so fully that their words lose power. Affirm life so deeply that their weariness sounds foreign. Zarathustra offers a simple test. If a teaching makes you smaller, quieter, more afraid, it is preaching death. If a teaching strengthens you, sharpens you, and demands more of you, it is serving life. He ends the chapter with a refusal to bow to despair, a refusal to kneel before exhaustion, a refusal to apologize for vitality. Zarathustra stands firmly with those who say yes to life, even when life is hard, even when it is lonely, even when it demands sacrifice, because only those who affirm life can create new values, and only those who create can lead humanity beyond decay. Chapter 10: War and Warriors. Zarathustra now speaks words that disturb the comfortable and awaken the restless. He speaks of war, but not the kind fought with armies. He speaks of inner conflict, of discipline, of struggle as the engine of becoming. Zarathustra addresses warriors, not soldiers of nations, but fighters of the self. He says, "You shall love peace as a means to new wars." This is not a call to violence. It is a call to strength. Zarathustra sees that comfort weakens, that endless peace dulls instinct, that a life without challenge becomes soft, reactive, and resentful. He does not glorify destruction. He glorifies testing. A warrior, in Zarathustra's sense, is not one who hates enemies, but one who chooses worthy ones. Why? Because the enemy defines the height of your struggle. Those who fight trivial battles shrink themselves. Those who avoid battle altogether decay. Only those who choose difficult opponents, ideas, habits, weaknesses, rise. Zarathustra demands a new definition of courage. Courage is not recklessness. Courage is self-mastery under pressure. The warrior does not seek chaos. He seeks resistance, because resistance reveals strength. Zarathustra says that one must learn to fight without hatred. Hatred poisons clarity. It makes the opponent larger than they are. True warriors respect their enemies because they respect what those enemies draw out of them. This is a deeply uncomfortable idea. Most people fight from resentment. They lash out to relieve pain. They attack what reflects their own weakness. Zarathustra rejects this. He wants warriors who fight to overcome, not to punish. He speaks also of discipline. A warrior's life is ordered, not because order is moral, but because chaos wastes energy. Strength requires focus. Excess drains will. Zarathustra contrasts warriors with preachers of peace. Not peace as balance, but peace as avoidance. Those who flee conflict become brittle. They cannot endure criticism. They collapse under pressure. Their values dissolve the moment they are challenged. Zarathustra wants the opposite. He wants men and women who can endure disagreement, hardship, and solitude without turning bitter, who can stand firm without becoming cruel. This chapter is often misunderstood. Zarathustra does not praise domination. He praises self-overcoming. The war he advocates is internal, constant, and creative. He even says something startling: "Let your peace be a victory." Peace is not the absence of struggle. It is the result of having fought well. Rest earned through effort strengthens. Rest without effort weakens. Zarathustra speaks to those who fear their own aggression. He does not say suppress it. He says discipline it. Untrained aggression becomes violence. Trained aggression becomes focus, endurance, and resolve. The warrior does not destroy his instincts. He refines them. Zarathustra also addresses hierarchy, another uncomfortable theme. He says not all are equal in strength, endurance, or will. Pretending otherwise breeds resentment. The warrior accepts difference without cruelty and without apology. This is not elitism. It is honesty. Equality before the law is one thing. Equality of spirit is another. Some are built for struggle. Some seek rest. Zarathustra speaks to the former and refuses to dilute his message for the latter. He warns warriors against becoming hard for the wrong reasons. Hardness born of fear becomes cruelty. Hardness born of discipline becomes resilience. The difference lies in purpose. The warrior's struggle must serve creation. Without a creative aim, war becomes endless conflict, destructive and empty. Zarathustra wants warriors who can also laugh, who do not take themselves too seriously, who fight fiercely and then let go, because obsession poisons victory. This chapter teaches a dangerous truth. Life grows through resistance. Strength emerges through challenge. Peace is earned, not granted. Zarathustra does not promise happiness. He promises height, and height requires struggle. Chapter 11, The New Idol. Zarathustra now turns toward a power so familiar that most no longer question it. A power worshipped not in temples, but in laws, flags, slogans, and promises. He calls it the new idol. It does not ask to be believed in. It demands obedience. Zarathustra speaks of the state, not merely as a political structure, but as a spiritual danger. He says, the state is the coldest of all cold monsters. Cold because it does not feel. Monster because it consumes. The state speaks with many voices, yet has no soul. It claims to serve the people, but survives by reducing individuals into numbers, functions, and roles. Zarathustra sees what others refuse to admit. Where old gods demanded faith, the new idol demands loyalty. Where old gods promised heaven, the new idol promises security. And people kneel just as eagerly. The state tells its citizens, I am you. Zarathustra replies, it lies. The individual is not the state. The creator is not the collective. The becoming spirit is not the machine. Zarathustra warns that the state thrives on fear. Fear of chaos. Fear of responsibility. Fear of standing alone. In exchange for protection, people surrender something priceless. Their will. They stop asking what they believe. They start repeating what is approved. The state rewards obedience and punishes deviation, not always with violence, but with exclusion, ridicule, and silence. Zarathustra sees how easily this happens. The state claims moral authority. It defines good and evil not through wisdom, but through utility. What serves stability is called good. What threatens order is called dangerous. Truth becomes negotiable. Values become adjustable. Individuals become replaceable. Zarathustra does not deny the necessity of structure. he denies the worship of it. The danger is not organization, it is submission. He sees how people begin to measure their worth by recognition, by status, by usefulness to the system. They forget how to create values. They wait to receive them. This is the triumph of the new idol. Zarathustra speaks harshly now. He says the state loves the mediocre because they are predictable. Exceptional individuals disrupt balance. Creators disturb order. Strong wills resist standardization. So the state teaches sameness in the language of fairness. It speaks of equality, but fears difference. It praises conformity, but calls it unity. Zarathustra sees that when people cannot rule themselves, they demand to be ruled. When they lack inner strength, they seek external authority. The new idol thrives on this weakness. He also warns of those who confuse rebellion with freedom. To oppose the state blindly is still to let it define you. True freedom lies not in reaction, but in independence of spirit. Zarathustra does not ask you to fight the state. He asks you to outgrow it. Live in such a way that its values no longer define you. Create so deeply that its rewards lose meaning. Stand so firmly that its threats lose power. This is not escape. It is transcendence. Zarathustra speaks to creators again. He says creators must live beyond the reach of the idol, not geographically, spiritually. Their allegiance is to becoming, not belonging. He warns that mass movements often begin with passion and end with control. The state absorbs ideals, drains them of danger, and turns them into tools. Even rebellion can be domesticated. The new idol does not need belief, only compliance. Zarathustra contrasts the state with friendship, creation, and solitude. These are places where individuality survives, where value is not assigned, but discovered. He says, wherever the state ends, the human being begins. This is one of the most radical ideas in Zarathustra. Not antisocial, not anarchic, but deeply individual. Zarathustra calls on the listener to reclaim responsibility for their own values, to stop outsourcing conscience, to stop confusing legality with morality. The new idol wants subjects. Zarathustra wants creators, and creators cannot be standardized. He ends the chapter with a quiet challenge. If the state disappeared tomorrow, would you still know who you are? If no authority approved your values, would you still stand by them? If no system rewarded your obedience, would you still live meaningfully? These questions are dangerous. That is why the new idol prefers silence. Chapter 12. The Flies in the Marketplace. Zarathustra now steps into the noise, not the honest noise of struggle or creation, but the buzzing, irritating noise of the marketplace. He speaks of flies, small, countless, persistent. They do not attack with strength. They exhaust with irritation. Zarathustra uses this image deliberately Because the greatest danger to a strong spirit is not a great enemy, but constant distraction. The marketplace is where voices compete, opinions shout, attention is traded, approval is currency. Zarathustra warns, "Flee, my friend, into your solitude. I see you deafened by the noise of the great men. These great men are not truly great. They are loud, performative, skilled at attracting eyes, not cultivating depth. The flies represent critics, commentators, moralists, and the endlessly offended. They swarm not to understand, but to provoke reaction. Why? Because reaction feeds them. Zarathustra sees how easily creators are pulled down into this buzzing chaos. How quickly they begin to explain themselves, defend themselves, justify themselves. This is the trap. Every response drains strength. Every argument steals focus. The flies cannot harm you, but they can consume your attention. Zarathustra does not say defeat them. He says avoid them, not out of fear, out of discipline. The marketplace thrives on immediacy, on outrage, on constant engagement. It punishes slowness and reflection, but creation requires silence. Zarathustra warns that public opinion is a poor guide. It shifts with trends, moods, and incentives. Today it praises, tomorrow it devours. The flies love success. They swarm those who rise. They resent distinction. They sting not because you are wrong, but because you are visible. Zarathustra understands this deeply. He says greatness attracts resentment, like light attracts insects. To stand out is to invite irritation. To create is to become a target. But here lies the danger. If you allow the flies to dictate your movement, your path bends toward them. You start adjusting your actions to avoid stings rather than pursue truth. This is how creators become performers. This is how thinkers become influencers. This is how depth becomes spectacle. Zarathustra urges withdrawal, not permanently, but strategically. Solitude is not escape. It is protection. In solitude, thoughts ripen. Values solidify. Strength regenerates. Without it, the spirit becomes reactive, brittle, scattered. Zarathustra does not despise the people in the marketplace. He simply knows they cannot help you become. They seek comfort, recognition, agreement. They reward conformity disguised as bravery. They punish difference disguised as danger. The flies sting, especially those who refuse to simplify themselves. Zarathustra speaks gently now, because the temptation is real. It feels good to be seen. It feels validating to be heard. It feels powerful to influence. But attention is addictive, and addiction weakens will. Zarathustra warns that the marketplace corrupts even noble intentions. Those who enter to teach soon learn to entertain. Those who enter to speak truth soon learn to soften it. Noise rewards noise. The quiet voice is drowned. So Zarathustra gives his advice. Do not fight flies. Do not reason with flies. Do not educate flies. Withdraw. Build your strength away from them. Let your work speak later when it is ready. He reminds us that the greatest ideas were born in silence, not crowds. That transformation happens inwardly before it is ever seen outwardly. The marketplace demands immediacy. Becoming demands patience. Zarathustra says, "Better to be misunderstood in silence than praised for something false." He also warns against bitterness. Avoiding the flies does not mean despising them. Contempt poisons clarity. It ties you emotionally to what you reject. Indifference is freedom. Zarathustra ends this chapter with a quiet command. Protect your solitude. Guard your attention. Choose depth over noise. Because those who live by reaction will never create. They will only respond. In this video, we moved through some of the most confrontational chapters. In part, one of Thus Spoke Zarathustra. We uncovered the danger of the preachers of death, those who glorify resignation and disguise weakness as wisdom. We explored war and warriors, redefining struggle as self-overcoming rather than destruction. We faced the new idol, where Zarathustra warns against surrendering our will to systems and collective power. And finally, we stepped away from the noise of the marketplace, learning why creators must protect their solitude from constant distraction. Together, these chapters deliver a single warning. Beware of anything that makes you smaller, quieter, and easier to control. Beware of comfort that costs you strength. Beware of noise that steals your becoming. But Zarathustra is not finished. In the next video, he turns inward again, toward desire, friendship, love, and the quiet dangers hidden inside virtue itself. If these ideas challenged you, stay with whispers of wisdom. This journey only grows sharper from here.